we head into the midterms, the city of Madison this week is proposing to increase penalties against people who threaten or harass election workers. Fines would increase to almost $700 from $439, with a maximum fine of $1,000. I'm joined to discuss by Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway and City Attorney Mike Haas. Both of you, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Why don't we start with, I know there's a lot of general data showing increasing security threats to election workers around the country. Are there specific instances in Madison that kind of prompted or concerned officials?
Yes, after the 2020 election, we saw a just really disturbing trend of harassment, threats mostly to our clerk's office and to our city clerk directly. And that's been covered, I think, well in the past. But what really struck me was when we figured out it was not just happening here in Madison, but it was happening all across the country. And I felt like it's important for us to really push back against that trend. And we wanted to do this in advance of the midterm elections to really send a signal that that behavior is not okay. Regardless of the outcome of the elections, some people are going to be happy, some people are going to be unhappy. That's sort of the way it goes. But it's not okay to take that out on our clerks and our poll workers.
Mike, you have spent a lot of time in the world of election law, in the world of working with elections in the past. Just give me some perspective over your career, how this type of threat or lack of threat has changed.
I think, as the mayor said, it certainly has increased and become more disturbing. I spent 12 years at the state elections agency, starting in 2008. This was really unheard of at that time. And over the past few years, we've seen harassment of election officials at the state and local levels really increase and become more serious, really personal threats over phone calls, email, social media. And it's something that, as the mayor said, is really unacceptable. And we're trying to do what we can to address that at the local level.
Absolutely. Given the seriousness of these types of threats to the workers that more or less uphold our democracy, do you feel like these penalties go far enough? Is there any room for the city to take this even farther?
Well, what we have done is create a section in our existing disorderly conduct ordinance, which, as you said, would increase the penalty if the disorderly conduct is directed at an election official because of their position. We also certainly have the opportunity and ability, if there are more serious cases or if the conduct persists, to send cases directly to the district attorney for prosecution as a crime rather than as a local ordinance violation.
Mayor, what kind of reception are you getting from City Council on this?
A very positive one. We have a number of alders sponsoring already, and I think that the council has expressed its support for our clerk's office and our poll workers in the past, and I expect that they will again. I think we're all very concerned, as you say, about the folks that are on the front lines of our democracy. Honestly, it's one of the things that's most frustrating about all of this, all of these conversations about the 2020 election is that, it's your friends and neighbors that are running the polls and helping people vote. And, it's not nefarious at all. It's really very down to earth.
And we think that we've got about 3 weeks left before the primary election. We think that there's enough time to get this through City Council before then?
Well, we'll certainly do our best, and it will be in place by November for sure. But we've got a couple of meetings coming up, and I'm hopeful that the council will adopt.
So let's talk about the primary election real quick. Again, that's coming up way too fast here. Talk me through just some of the basics of how the city is prepping. Where are we at with that?
Yeah, so, just to remind folks, Wisconsin is an open primary state. That means that you can choose what partisan primary you vote in. You just have to only vote in one. We are, I think, very prepared. We've got a lot, again, of absentee ballot requests. We've had over 20,000 absentee ballots issued. And we've gotten about 20+% of those returned already. So I think folks are excited for this election, are participating in it, and I expect that we'll see a good turnout on Election Day. And clerk's office, as always, is done everything they need to do on the absentee ballot front. We're going to have our regular in-person absentee voting starting on July 26th. And then, of course, folks can vote on Election Day as well.
All right, Mike, any final thoughts to add? Any deadlines we should be aware of?
I think folks should just remember a couple of things. Of course, bring your photo ID if you're voting in person. And also, if there are any questions, you can certainly go to myvote.wi.gov to look at your sample ballot, find out who your clerk is, and as always, you can contact your local municipal clerk for more information.
All right. Madison Mayor, City Attorney, thank you again both so much for taking a few minutes out of your morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will be right back.